Question 86. Designed for senior citizens, this kind of mortgage is set up so that instead of making monthly payments to the lender, the borrower receives a monthly check from the lender. A. Wraparound mortgage. B. Growing equity mortgage. C. Equity deferred loan. D. Reverse equity mortgage. Correct answer is D. Reverse equity mortgage. Sometimes called a reverse annuity mortgage, T-reverse mortgage allows homeowners aged 65 or older to borrow against the equity in their home without having to make monthly payments. Instead, they receive funds from the lender either as a lump sum, monthly payments, a line of credit, or a combination of these options. The loan balance grows over time as interest accrues, and the loan is typically repaid when the borrower moves out, sells the home, or passes away. Question 87. Buyer Bruce and a seller enter into escrow on a property. Just before escrow is set to close, buyer Bruce backs out, claiming that the seller did not satisfy all the conditions in the purchase agreement. Bruce further demands that the escrow agent return his $5,000 deposit. The escrow agent should A. Give the deposit back to buyer Bruce. If the agent agrees the seller breached the purchase agreement. B. Give the deposit to the seller. C. Keep the deposit in the escrow account. D. Give the deposit to the state attorney to decide the issue. Correct answer is C. Keep the deposit in the escrow account. An escrow agent is a neutral third party. They cannot unilaterally decide who gets the deposit. Since there's a dispute, the escrow agent should hold the funds in the escrow account until 1. Both buyer and seller agree in writing on how to disperse the funds. 2. A court order instructs the escrow agent on how to distribute the money. 3. The parties go through mediation or arbitration, and the mediator or arbitrator makes a decision. The escrow agent cannot simply give the money back to the buyer, even if they personally believe the seller breached the contract. Doing so would expose them to potential liability. Question 88. Buildings with apartments and condominiums fall under the subdivision rules of the California real estate law if the buildings contain A. 2 or more units. B. 5 or more units. C. 20 or more units. D. Apartment buildings do not fall under the provisions of the real estate law, no matter how many units. Correct answer is B. 5 or more units. In California, the subdivision rules of the real estate law generally apply to residential buildings, including apartments and condominiums, with 5 or more units. These rules are designed to protect consumers by regulating the development and sale of subdivided properties. Question 89. A broker takes an option on a property for which he is the listing broker. The broker procures a buyer who is offering more than the listed price for the property. So the broker purchases it at the listed price in order to resell it the buyer for a profit. This is A. Legal. B. Illegal. C. Legal, as long as the broker secures the approval of the seller. D. Legal, as long as the broker shares the profit with the seller. Correct answer is B. Illegal. If the broker personally benefits from the listing in such a way, it would be considered a secret profit. That is a violation of the real estate law. This scenario represents a conflict of interest and a breach of the broker's fiduciary duty to the seller. Even though the broker found a buyer willing to pay more, the broker prioritized their own profit over the seller's best interest. A broker acting as an agent for the seller has a duty to disclose all material facts, including higher offers, and to act in the seller's best interest. Taking an option on the property and then reselling it for a quick profit without full disclosure and the seller's informed consent is unethical and illegal. Securing the seller's approval after the fact doesn't rectify the initial breach of duty. Question 90. A broker's desk cost is A. Dependent on the price charged by the office furniture store where the desks are purchased. B. The total operating expense of the office divided by the number of salespersons. C. The total operating expense of the office with the salaries of all office employers and payments to independent contractors subtracted. D. None of the above. Correct answer is B. The total operating expense of the office divided by the number of salespersons. A broker's desk cost is a way to measure the average cost of supporting each salesperson in the office. It's calculated by dividing the total operating expenses of the office, rent, utilities, advertising, etc., by the number of salespersons. This helps the broker understand the overhead associated with each agent and make informed business decisions. The desk cost does not include a profit margin for the broker. Question 91. A lease of property owned by an emancipated minor cannot have a term longer. A. The number of years between the emancipated minor's age and 21. B. 5 years. C. 10 years. D. The lease term cannot be longer than a probate court would authorize. Correct answer is D. The lease term cannot be longer than a probate court would authorize. An emancipated minor is a person under the age of majority who is legally considered an adult. Emancipation can be granted by a court or occur automatically under specific circumstances like marriage. Emancipated minors can enter contracts, manage finances, and make their own decisions. They are independent of parental control and responsible for their own support. An emancipated minor has the legal capacity to enter into contracts as an adult, but there are still some limitations. An emancipated minor has the capacity to contract, but the length of a lease of their real property is indeed subject to probate court oversight, just as it would be for someone declared legally incompetent. The probate court's involvement ensures the minor's or legally incompetent person's interests are protected. Question 92. An agency relationship would not be created by A. Subrogation, B. An oral agreement, C. Implication, D. Ratification. Correct answer is A. Subrogation. Subrogation is the legal process where one party takes over the rights of another party, typically in insurance or financial situations. It's not a method of creating an agency relationship. Agency relationships are created through B. Oral agreement. While not always recommended due to potential proof issues, an agency relationship can be created through a verbal agreement in some situations. C. Implication. An agency relationship can be implied by the actions and conduct of the parties involved. Even if there's no express agreement, the way the parties behave might create an agency relationship in the eyes of the law. D. Ratification. This is when one party approves or accepts the actions of another party, even if there was no prior agency agreement. By ratifying someone's actions, you can create an agency relationship retroactively. Question 93. Which of the following terms is not like the others? A. Novation, B. Assignment, C. Escrow, D. Sublease. Correct answer is C. Escrow. Novation, assignment, and sublease all relate to transferring or modifying existing contractual obligations. Escrow, while related to real estate transactions, is a separate process involving a neutral third party holding funds and documents. It's not about transferring or changing the underlying contract itself, but rather about facilitating its completion. Question 94. Which type of bankruptcy filing provides a firm with the opportunity to reorganize its debt and to try to re-emerge as a healthy organization? A. Chapter 7, B. Chapter 11, C. Master Reorganization Filing, D. None of the above. Correct answer is B. Chapter 11. While Chapter 7 is used by firms which are past the reorganization stage and must simply liquidate their assets to pay off creditors, companies in Chapter 11 will contact their creditors in an attempt to change the loan terms, such as the interest rate and dollar value of payments. Both Chapters 11 and 7 require that a trustee be appointed. However, in Chapter 11, the trustee supervises the assets of the debtor and allows business to continue. Question 95. Which is the least important factor in the appraisal of a 30-year-old residence? A. Reason for the appraisal. B. Building's physical condition. C. Original cost of the property. D. None of the above. Correct answer is C. Original cost of the property. While the original cost might be somewhat interesting, it's the least important factor in appraising a 30-year-old residence. Property values change over time due to market conditions, depreciation, renovations, and other factors. The original cost is a sunk cost and doesn't accurately reflect the current market value. Appraisers focus on current market data, the property's condition, and other relevant factors to determine its present value. The reason for the appraisal can influence the type of value sought, market, insurance, etc., but not the process of determining that value. The building's physical condition is critical.